Hello, hello. Welcome to Tech Ascent, the podcast where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the premier business development partner within tech. Today, we've got a great guest join us, joined by Brad Banyas, the founder and CEO of OMI. Brad, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Oliver, thank you very much I'm excited to be on your podcast. I love what you're doing. So my name is Brad Banyas. Our company is called OMI. We were founded in 1999, so we're 26 years old now. Our company started as a SaaS company in the banking industry, which when at that time, Oliver, SaaS was not even claimed. There was no SaaS. We were considered an application service provider. When the cloud technology hadn't even started, but we started and we built kind of banking portals in the financial institution area. And then kind of moved to doing other kind of things, custom development in the last, 13, 14 years on, the leading cloud platforms, Salesforce, Microsoft, Google, AWS. Today, 26 years later, I've done all kinds of crazy stuff, but most people see us kind of as we're a mid-market SMB mid-market company. That's our focus on who we go after and we do work for across all industries. People kind of think of us as kind of a mini Accenture or mini Deloitte with an easier kind of SWOT approach to getting things done.
Awesome.
That's where we are, man. That's how we started.
Yeah, awesome. And you've been in business for 26 years. If we want to rewind the clock a little bit, what made you want to start OMI?
Well, that's a great question because I didn't want to start it. I owned a company in the 90s. I was probably about your age when I started that. A younger guy. It was called Output Solutions Inc. So it was OSI versus OMI. It was a joint venture with an Australian company that believed in me. I had sold some of their products to another company and they invested in me and we kind of set up. It was in the workflow document space. And so they helped me get started. And we came across an opportunity. We were doing a very large telecom provider at the time, and they used our software to generate invoices and statements and things like that for their call centers. And the CIO called me one day and he said, "Hey, Brad, we love your software. We love your technology. I want to turn my customer statements and phone bills quicker. I want you to basically provide me my statements quicker and I'll pay you per invoice, per statement, per customer bill." At the time, it made sense. We ran the software. We knew how to do it. I didn't have any idea like how to price it. This was before JPEGs and PNGs, lightweight documents. They were TIFFs. If anyone who's old knows what a TIFF is, it's not the best format to be delivering mass volumes of millions of documents. And anyway, so I said, "Okay, John, what do you think? 70 cents a statement?" And he's like, "We're doing millions of them, Brad. That's kind of a lot of money." So I'm like, "Okay, 30 cents." He's like, "Sure." When I called my partners, they were software people, licensing software, this whole new cloud SaaS, virtual service bureau. It was a new concept. And, they didn't want to do it. I believed enough in the transaction model, which is now kind of turned into subscription model. I just saw the struggles that companies had with traditional sales cycles. You try to sell your product, you have a good month, bad month, good month. And so your revenue kind of went like this. And I'm one of those people who's too dumb to know. I kind of said, well, wait, if I'm doing, 5 million transactions a month, I know that electronic communications are only going to grow over time because the big push was paperless, save a tree kind of thing during that 2000. I said, "Fellas, I love you guys, but I got to do this." So, my dad was a good mentor of mine, and I told him, he said, "Look, if you believe in it, you should do it." And so we started OMI based on that premise, and the first 3 or 4 years were really tough because we had to become what we weren't at that time. We were more of a sales consulting company. we now have to build this idea that was in my head. That took a while, but thank you for asking. If those guys would have done it, which I think they probably regret not doing it, OMI would not be here today.
Interesting. And with those first 3 or 4 years when things were a struggle, how did you break through it? Was there a certain day where you had an aha moment, a certain situation that you found yourself in that kept you pushing through? What did that look like?
As a young entrepreneur and businessman, and you're doing with Ascension, I always looked at it like I had two little kids at that time. I had a family to take care of. Failure was not an option. I believed in what we were doing. What happened is everyone got really excited in the internet, pumped a lot of money in companies. It reminds me of the AI push right now. The market crashed and there was no money. Um, Fortunately, I had grown up in sales most of my life. And early on, we did a lot of consulting, help us from a revenue perspective, and invested that money back into the platform. I was comfortable in that scenario. I had sold software products. We used that as an opportunity. We went out and sold products in our space. It made sense. It was a tough 3, 4 years. But 26 years later, that worked. That platform is still in use 26 years later. Mobile banking came along, replaced what became pretty common.
Awesome. You've made it 26 years, so those first 3 or 4 years, I'm sure they taught you a
Yeah.
lot of lessons.
Yeah, the good news about being in business, you still get taught a lot of lessons. During that time, we went off and done a lot of different technologies and ventures around products. Some of them don't work out. It's sad to bury an idea or something that you put millions of dollars into, but the market will always tell you whether it's of value or not. My dad used to say, "Hey, it's great dog food. The dogs just won't eat it." And I think as an entrepreneur, one of the things, I would tell you is always have your core, what you're really good at, but don't be afraid to experiment other things that may not be directly what you're doing, but the knowledge you've learned about that product. And I think that's why we moved into so many different areas, right? We moved pretty quickly out of banking and financial services and got more into the general market. And our skills that we had learned, we had to connect to all these core banking systems and online platforms. We became really good at integrations, right? And APIs and connecting systems. And I would say today that early knowledge around that one industry is a huge differentiator for us in other areas. Unknowingly, that kind of shaped who we were going to be 15, 20 years later.
Yeah, 100%. And being the founder CEO, what strategies do you have in place? Maybe it's just natural for you of deciding when it's time to scale something or when it's time to pivot. How do you go about balancing that mindset?
Tough because I'm a never say die guy. Like I have a reputation for never letting something go. But sometimes we have to let stuff go. I think it's not so much even the market. We have a service that's been running 26 years. A pivot's pretty obvious when you're having trouble selling something or offering something that you've been offering for last 5 years, last 10 years. And I look at technology as kind of a decade, not at what's going to be hot next year, what might go away. I think if you chase those things, you get in trouble. The market tells us when to pivot. One of the reasons we pivoted more to taking our expertise around SaaS and the cloud is because you find big providers, big companies that dominate market. For instance, CRM. We got into CRM pretty early with Salesforce. We have a consulting practice around anything Salesforce, and then moved into Microsoft, mimicking our Salesforce practice that we had been doing for 10 years. So we had an expertise on how to systemize that. And then things like AWS and Google and Azure. I think if you're an organization and the services you provide are around pretty big cloud providers, there's going to be enough for you to eat. It's like the S&P. Those technology stacks are enough for us to understand this market's not going to go away. It's a big market. Now let's move into tributaries that support these cloud platforms, AI, agentic AI, but still your base is those main cloud platforms. Then we go off and bet on a smaller area that people are, really getting excited about.
And Brad, you've seen influxes of new technologies.
Yeah.
With AI over the past couple of years, how different is this, or is this something there's a lot of noise? What's your thoughts on it? You've obviously been through
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I believe artificial intelligence is going to change the technology space, right? We're seeing it. I mean, most people know of AI in real world is like ChatGPT, right? Everybody's using but agentic AI, uh, if you know what agentic AI is, basically like if you've got a call center where an AI agent can take over, basic questions, fulfill an order. I believe that's going to be the most impactful thing short term. AI long term will be very difficult to assess consumer adoption because just like electronic documents, portals, and shit, accessing via the internet 26 years ago, that's still in place. So it takes a decade or more for technologies to actually embed day-to-day consumers and business stuff because they've been doing the same things for so long. I'm not an AI guru. I do think it'll have impact. I do think there'll be tremendous value and it will replace jobs. But I think people today, my advice would be learn how to use AI, make yourself more efficient, and I think you'll be fine. He grew up in something very similar. It was human automation, business process automation, workflow. That's where we started in the 90s. How long ago? Well, guess the majority of work we still do on these cloud platforms. They're in the same area. So the tools that come along, the people that embrace those and learn the real business outcomes or business strategy, you'll be fine. You know, there's a lot of panic right now. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's going to take your job. I mean, what it can't do is do what you and I are doing, share knowledge and information about like what my personal experiences were. And so I think in business, that's still going to be very important regardless of what industry you're
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think just us being within the tech space, that also doesn't help that it's just a constant circulation of everybody's talking about AI. But if you remove yourself on kind of a broader scale, it's not as overwhelming as a topic as maybe we may think it is.
in. Absolutely. We always liked customer relationship management only because it covered, right, sales, marketing, customer support, call center. It covered a broader area. But if you talked about an acronym of CRM, my family, yeah, they thought I was like a CIA agent for years because they didn't know what we did. Like, no, we're in the tech space. We talk about all these acronyms and things. Go to a bar and sit down and start talking to someone about agentic AI. They're going to think you're a weirdo. They don't have any reference point. And I think we forget that as technology related people. It's kind of boring sometimes. I mean, we're basically the whole purpose of technology, other than if it's science or medicine. There's different applications, obviously, of technology that are outside what we do. But just the general thing is, look, you got to make your business run more efficiently, faster, cut out all the waste. And that hasn't changed over the 30-year period that I've been in the space. And it's still what people talk about today.
Right. Yeah. And you've seen it firsthand with the boom of the internet.
Yeah, I guess what I'm like a Gen X, right? We were around, before phones and internet and all that, and have kind of grown up. And so it's a really neat perspective to know what it was like before, during it, in the heydays, and what the future is going to be. And I would say it's not different. The difference is when I was your age, we didn't have as many competitors, and as a company or sales, marketing, promotion, that was nice because I know what Oliver's going to do. I know what Oliver's going to say, and I know what, John or Susan's going to say. So I'm really competing against Oliver and Susan and Brad. Now there's hundreds of competitors, and the consumers, it's really tough from a consumer side and even a business side when they come in because you've got all these providers. How do you know who to pick? They're all saying the same thing. And that's why I think your skill set of being able to, genuinely build a relationship and build trust, you're still going to get more business than someone who's the new agentic AI trends.
Yeah. And in such a competitive landscape, Brad, how is OMI going about breaking through the noise? You've been in the business for 26 years. How are things
Yeah.
progressing now? What strategies are you guys testing out?
I would say our strategy from day one, if you're an entrepreneur and don't have millions of dollars to spend on marketing ads, you can't go hire the top sales talent, marketing talent. We took an approach early on where our business in the 90s was very similar. We were very channel and partner focused. And I would say that's still 100%. We have a partner channel, a large partner channel across different areas. We have a very large channel that trusts us. So we offer, it's called portfolio services, where you're offering things across Salesforce, AWS, Microsoft. Most of these organizations that are in the channel don't have the capability to deliver that breadth that we do. And I think we've done a good job becoming partners and extensions of their business, and they're extensions of our business in some means. And so that will continue to be how we do business. We've always done business that way. We don't sell software licensing, so we're not trying to be Salesforce. We're not Microsoft. We're kind of the plumbers and the electricians that make all this stuff work.
Oh, very nice. And I love the mindset of that partnership driven approach to business, because you see it too often. There's vendors and then there's partners, and the vendors usually don't win in the long run.
I always used to laugh, and I would tell our team, if someone references us as a vendor, we need to be really ready to move away from them as soon as our contract's up. Because if we're not seen, and all of our customers, we're probably not seen as partners, but I would say the majority of them in the top, 80 percentile, we've earned their trust. We help them across a lot of different places in their business. And as soon as you lose that and it's a price on a sheet, it's very tough. We're not really great at RFP type business. Most of our business comes from obviously our channel, referrals, customers that know we did a good job. It guarantees you that they know what you can do, and they're selling you your expertise and how trustworthy you are and their relationship with you, versus these guys can implement Microsoft or these guys can implement Salesforce.
Yeah, I love it. And Brad, you've been in business for 26 years now with OMI. Looking forward, what's the future hold for OMI? What's the vision? What's the goals?
I started this with, we have a lot of people try to acquire us. There's a lot of M&A action right now in private equity and things like that. I'm even trying to build businesses for the long run. This business is something to me. My dad, who's no longer here, and a couple other people who are no longer here. They were older at the time, so I've seen that go through. So it means something to me. It means something more than money. It means something to our partners, and it provides a very good life for a lot of people. I think we're going to continue to do our own tech stack stuff. I mean, we recently wrote a music app through another venture that we own. And we use our technology skills to write those services or SaaS services. So our group likes things that are challenging. They like things that I think they think can impact people. And so our focus on our own technologies versus what we do for our clients, what's the value of this to a consumer, to a musician? Because I think ideally, if you don't have an affinity towards that brand or that service, you won't be around very long. My personal aspirations are to do stuff directly with purpose, things we want to get in that impact people. It's cool to do business process improvement and workflow improvement and efficiency stuff, and that's what we've been doing, and we'll continue to do that stuff. But I think we're moving into some things technically that are kind of more purpose driven than just tech driven.
Oh, I love that. And the biggest thing there is like once you find that purpose, it makes showing up every day a lot easier. I love that vision.
I would tell people, and I love what you're doing at Accenture. I love the energy you have. It takes a lot of confidence to do podcasting like you're doing right now and engaging with people. But I tell you, you learn more about people and you get more connections by taking a genuine interest in this. And I'm going to give a call out to Harvey McKay. He's kind of like a Dale Carnegie type guy. He's still alive. He's 90 years old. He had something called McKay 66, which basically he made all of his salespeople and business people learn 66 things about their customers or their prospects. And like, this is before there were no phones or CRMs or whatever. The guy's whole intention was about people and genuinely caring and getting engaged and trying to understand those people. And I think we need a lot more. Tech has kind of moved away from that, and it's become just money. But like for someone young like you and doing what you're doing, personal relationships and being able to talk like this are gold, right? We've started a couple different companies that had nothing to do with OMI from a technical perspective. And I can tell you when we started that, people kind of knew me from technology. That business brought a ton of business to OMI, which was unforeseen because they're totally non-related. There's no connection. But what it did in that genre, people got engaged and, well, what else do you guys do? But the tie was you connected with someone, they liked what you were doing. They didn't know what you really did, but when they found out what you really did, they brought some pretty large opportunities because you had made personal connection, if that makes sense.
No, that was good. That was good. And especially in the tech space, there's so many products and solutions, but if you weigh that compared to how many genuine people are out there building genuine businesses, it's opposite ends of the
Yeah,
spectrum. So
yeah, I know it's cliche and everybody says that, but it's true. People work with people they like or they trust. And if you've got 5 vendors or partners vying for your business and these 3 are, well, take it or leave it, we're the biggest in the market and we're XYZ, we're the best, or you've got, these 1 or 2 people that are really genuine and trying to earn your business and want to do a good job, I'd rather go with those 2 because I know they're not going to let it fail. And the biggest thing is if like someone could narrow it down to success, do what you say you're going to do, even if it hurts, but do what you say you're going to do. Businesses, people, executives, whatever, they need people that are going to follow through what they say. And I would tell anybody, if you're going to have any success in life, do what you say you're going to do.
I love that. Wise words, Brad. Wise words.
I'm becoming the old gray guy.
I like
That's
it.
my role.
It's simple. It's a simple phrase, but it's going to ring true for the rest of the time. It's just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah. I have to call you out because I know that you were a pretty good basketball player, right? At Hiram University, right?
Yeah.
And you played some pro ball and you like were the defensive leader on boards, 150 boards or something. And in the offensive boards, you're like 60 or something. So I can tell, I love that about you. I did a little research and I know you're going to be a success. I'm excited for you. So however we can help you or work with you, we'd love to do it.
Yeah, Brad, I appreciate the support, the back end research, and I truly appreciate you coming on and taking the time for the show.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you just before we go, because you're a basketball guy. So who are you picking for the final win in March Madness?
I've actually been a little zoned out this year.
That's okay. You don't want to commit. That's all right.
I want to say Duke's still in it. No, I've been a supportive of Cooper Flag, so
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. My dad was from Kentucky, so we grew up. I mean, we're SEC guys. I live in Georgia and all that. So I'm happy to see 7 SEC teams are still in it. 16 here, but I've got to for Kentucky just because my dad's teams. They got to play Tennessee, I think, next. So we'll see.
yeah, solid. Big Blue Nation.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Man, I appreciate you having us on. Like I said, if we can be of assistance to you, let me know. If somebody wants to know more about OMI, it's just omi.co, and you can learn about what we're doing and new partners, customers.
Awesome. And for everybody listening, I'll tag Brad's LinkedIn in the description. I'll also tag OMI's website. But once again, Brad, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Oliver. So definitely listen to the Ascent podcast. We appreciate it. We're going to be big fans.
It's been a pleasure.
Peace.